You're officially live. So you'll show
We don't
up.
have a majority yet. I know Justin might not be here.
Bill said he might know Justin.
Oh, I'm ready.
He's ready
Bill
to
won't be here,
Yeah,
so at least Leonard, hopefully he'll show.
always sneaks up on you.
Oh,
Bill said he had to get up early.
This one said hopefully Leonard shows.
Justin's grandma or
Grandmother.
grandmother. She had a few weeks today.
Near the courthouse.
Downtown.
Yeah, the old courthouse.
The old courthouse.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Good.
All right.
You're looking
Good.
to try to join the council.
Awesome. Last time we met was July. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I looked at that. I'm like, where's the August? Where's the October minutes? Where's the August minutes? Doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Oh, should know their name. I don't
Well,
know.
for like going to the stores with Christmas music. You approached. I don't know if we haven't met since July.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
I'm still trying. So it seems like we're just in.
I know.
My own schedule here.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was probably at the last meeting.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Hey, he's here.
Hi.
You made it.
That's good. Maybe we'll have more.
Yeah, we do. That's great.
You have a
Me
quorum.
now. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't sure who would be here.
Sorry about your loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's all right. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like completely unexpected. They were an older member of our family.
Well, I've got 5:31, so we'll go ahead and get started.
93. She just turned 93. Wow. Actually, in September. So
I hope to make it to 93.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to be too sad. What are the expectations?
Yeah. Yep. So, looking over the minutes, we met last in July. Matt and I were just talking, that's hard to believe, it's been that long, but I'll give everybody a second to peruse these and see if there's any changes need to be made. Good, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Next on the agenda is the new business, which is the resolution for reimbursement for the town lagoon repairs.
That went better than expected. You guys allocated approximately 50,000 not to exceed, and we were coming at 37,150.
Oh,
So,
Get some money back.
yeah, means we're winning.
Now, is there still work to be done out there? It
Yeah.
looks like, yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
So
that was just the immediate sort of emergency
That was to
stuff
keep
we
it
did.
running for the, keep one running, the two to keep the process going.
The invoice is up there and then Jackson's got copies of the resolution.
Yeah, and I went ahead and updated the resolution just to match the invoice, if that's what the amount is, so. If you, it's resolution 2025-02. Going through that. you can go for a motion.
So we need a motion to approve that resolution.
And that's the resolution for the spending, right? Yeah. Invoice. Yeah, I moved to approve it.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Resolution passes. We'll get that signed. I have a annual spending plan.
Yes, that is a requirement for redevelopment commission, a newer requirement for us to pass each year.
Okay.
With us not meeting the last couple of months, I just kind of threw some numbers in there, very similar to what we've done the last couple of years. We are allowed to do amendments if we would want to,
spend more, do
amend it.
something else,
Yeah, do
yeah,
something different than that, that's what I put together.
okay, so
Yeah.
you've got it.
What we do.
Basically, 500 for utilities or anything of that nature, then an additional million for any improvements.
And this is, when it says committed funds, that's new commitments or existing commitments?
That'd be a new commitment
Yeah,
for next
this is
year.
for 2026 spending.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we have to spend it, we just have to say that we're planning
Yes.
to, right?
Yes,
Have we spent all the funds that we allocated this year?
no,
Because we're waiting on the water treatment.
water treatment plant, was that this year in 2025? I believe it was.
Yeah.
Seems so long ago. The bond, company, they did require, or request those 2.5 million funds, quite a while ago, so those have been sent out.
Yeah.
And then this $500,000 that has been committed to the wastewater plant, none of that's been spent yet.
Okay,
But,
so that'll basically roll over into next year. Is this 500 or
Yes.
that'll be an additional 500?
some of it may be spent out in December, probably the majority of it, I would think in January.
Okay.
Maybe even February. And those details, are kind of at the end of the expense report.
Glad you brought that up,
That
Kate.
bottom
So
portion right there.
at the end of November, well, at November 19th, we had 2.3 million in the coffers, so.
And then we'll also get our property tax payment, in December.
Now, with SB1, what's the projected impact next year?
For your TIF funds, I don't think you'll be particularly impacted by
Okay.
it, at least because that mostly impacts the deductions on residential properties or senior housing. Some areas it's vacant land would be one potential area, but because it's mostly commercial in your district, I wouldn't expect much of a reduction.
Okay, because I did read that some TIF districts are
Yes.
impacted because they're residential and because of the way the bucket theory works. Like if we don't overflow the bucket, then we could be in like sort of like a negative situation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, and you could potentially see that on vacant land around here because there's additional agricultural things you can claim that would lower your base assessed value. I don't think there's probably enough to make much of a difference for you guys as far as that goes. I haven't done any analysis on it, but,
And then did we look at, when are there's new construction happening on 19, right? Or like planned improvements to some of those buildings. Did they move forward with that?
With Forest River,
Yeah.
particularly, they continue to move forward with, in fact, we're going to an open house tomorrow at the new plant, which is their, I guess, their Wildcat plant
Yeah,
now.
but just
That's
got finished, that one that they just moved into out there, so.
Yeah.
They're moving that entire division from Elkhart to Walker, so.
So that should raise the assessed values, correct?
Quite a bit.
yeah. And you'll probably, is it completed now this year?
Yeah,
So, yeah, you'll see that impact next year.
Okay. So
Or,
anything.
I guess technically maybe
Do you
2027,
know?
because it'll get assessed higher, but they'll pay it.
Um,
And Casey's name there, that'll help.
Jason Hirschberger is the GM for Prime Time Forest River. And I had a meeting with him, it was probably just a few weeks ago. I saw him yesterday, I'll see him again tomorrow. But he is very optimistic that they're gonna continue to make significant improvements to that corridor. They're moving evidently a frame or a sidewall plant almost in its entirety from Goshen to Walker, so that's gonna require quite a few improvements. I don't know which building it is, but he said they're gonna probably drop $250,000 on a new roof so that they can facilitate that move. He did anticipate within a year from now, that most of those parking places out there will be full. They anticipate that kind of increased production in the next year. So, and with that will come significant property improvements. He's talked about all kinds of things, improving the driveways in or the turn-ins off of State Road 19, replacing a lot of those culverts that are failing and just really sprucing the property up. Evidently, since Mr. Legal passed away, their purse strings have loosened. quite significantly in terms of improvements to their buildings. So,
I think they're still working with JPR as well on maybe some redevelopment there, yeah.
Cooperate with the move. I mean, I would welcome that, whatever we can.
he's very open to that. Jason is, their GM, is very open to that. Young guy, he's coming out any older than you guys. He's very, very aggressive, and seems to be very positive about the changes that are taking place on the improvements.
And then what is the current condition, and if you don't know, it's fine, I'm just trying to catch up, with the Come and Dine property, now that it's a school? Does their nonprofit status like basically like prevent them from like going into this tip bucket as a property school? I believe it's like a faith-based Montessori school, so they're,
I guess I don't know. It's a private, it's like a charter school.
it's like a faith-based Montessori sort of daycare slash.
Probably then it would be tax exempt if they did the property tax applications.
Okay.
I don't know much beyond that.
Yeah.
Regarding that facility. I don't know much beyond that.
And then the Roost property, that should, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like a big chunk of change, but that's gotta probably make that property a little better. They'll at least offset what they did on the other side.
Well, and then obviously Tim he's adding, he's probably gonna start framing, they'll probably start, has everyone been doing that, Bobby?
I'm not sure if they're doing it or not.
I don't know if you've noticed, but he's got a pad, he's gonna put up a sizable pole structure and sell, I believe, truck bodies
I think so.
out of that facility. So that could be a significant improvement out there as well.
It's north of the Greece.
Yeah.
Just north of the bridge. It's typically, generally, it's behind that smaller red pole structure. It's on the west side of that. And it's probably 100 feet long.
Yeah, it's probably like a
Might be
50
longer
by
than that.
100 maybe or something.
60 by 100, 60 by 160, something. It's a significant building.
It's a big year for the 19 corridor.
Yeah, yeah. Bigger than most recent years. Definitely.
Excellent. So we need a motion to accept our spending plan for 2026.
Make a motion that we accept the annual spending plan for Walker's redevelopment commission for 2026.
Jackson, under what like terms can this be amended? Or is it set in stone?
I would say it's not set in stone, and they're usually pretty broad so that you don't have to amend them for the most part. It's one of those funny things where the DLG Act is supposed to tell us how to do things, but I don't think they ever have. As far as that goes, like, for example, the town budget, if you set your budget, and if it changes, you have to do an additional appropriation. Theoretically, you could do something like that if you want to do like, but it's not clear.
Yeah.
Never had to deal with it.
Okay, no worries. I second.
To your point, Jackson, I mean, redevelopment and improvement projects, that's
Like
broad.
they're
Pretty broad.
So, second,
Yeah, second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. It passes. I'll sign it. Anything else? Any other new business, old business?
The only thing I wanted to check with the town on was if there were any projects being planned for 2026 on sort of like the gateway concept. And if there were any funds that you'd be looking for that.
Yes. And we just recently, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, we met with John Hunsberger and two of his staff members, Terry. And,
No,
I can't
that
remember,
was Harry.
Terry, from the ECBB, correct? Elkhart County.
Yeah. Visitors.
Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we are planning with the, hopefully the cooperation of the community, some kind of improvements for the gateway. I don't know if we're talking 2026 But there's,
Essentially,
yeah, so, but we've also got programs or projects working with the Quilt Garden, where we would like to see some improvements to the downtown area, some placemaking, that kind of go in with the whole Linger Longer initiative. I recently attended an AIM conference in French Lake, and they talked a lot about SB1, and they talked about during this next couple of years, especially, there's a huge emphasis on revitalization and building in more vibrancy within small communities especially. And the whole emphasis, it seemed, was you need to be addressing things like the gateway. Is your community as aesthetically appealing as it should be? That seems to be the big push, and especially for smaller communities, if you don't make that part of your focus, you need to make it part of your focus, or you could get left behind. Our average age is 37, and they want things to do, they want places to go, they like walking downtown and the downtown look, the sound, the smell, to make them feel good. If that makes any sense, at the risk of sounding somewhat shallow, but that is the big emphasis, is how vital is how vibrant is your community, and what are you doing to increase the vitality of your downtown. A big concern is empty buildings sitting across the street, empty buildings with broken windows. What does it look like as you're coming in from the east? And it's not very appealing out there at the corner of State Road 19 and Waterford Street. What are we doing to improve those types of things? So we have talked about an archway, we've talked about some kind of signage that makes the entrance into the community more appealing, more aesthetically pleasing. I don't know, we've been talking with JBR, we're gonna probably sit down with Adam Marsh through the Elkhart County Convention, the ECBB. We're gonna sit down with Adam Marsh, and they actually will offer some planning and in cooperation with the ECBB that will, the service is free. Through them. So we definitely want to, at the risk of him whining and blubbering around here, we definitely want to address that. We're looking for some direction there. And there definitely will be significant costs for fundraising and capitalizing those projects.
Now, one of the things they do in some cities is they will basically either like condemn or purchase some of these really blighted buildings like in a town, and then like at like the town or like a commission's kind of expense fix them up, and then basically somehow get businesses to buy them back or something along those lines.
Are any of you familiar with what Napanee is currently doing?
Well, I think that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, they have, I was speaking with someone on their council, that says they have a program very much like this, where the town, or I don't know how involved their RDC is, but the town, the RDC purchases said property, these blighted properties, and then they have some kind of an arrangement, some kind of a contractual agreement with, I believe, let's say Ace Builders in Napanee, where Ace, Pete and his crew will go in and build it out, refurb it to their specs, and then there's some kind of a loan forgiveness program that I'm not sure exactly how it works. I honestly need to do more reading on it. I need to spend more time researching it to find out exactly what it is. But then those properties are made available for new businesses coming into town, if that makes any sense. And I know there are things that we need. We definitely need another restaurant or two downtown. I don't know if you've ever tried to go up here on a Friday night and get a deal, but a lot of times it's a 45-minute to an hour and a half wait. And what most people then do is go, well, let's just go to Beebs and Ash and Goshen, it's only 20 minutes down the road, or let's go to Napanee and go to Hunters, or let's go to any one of the several restaurants that are in Napanee. And so they leave. Then for future instances, they're like, let's not even bother, let's just go to Beebs and Ash, or let's go to Napanee, or let's go to Mishawaka. We definitely would like to address that. So, I've had downtown businesses express extreme concern about the health of our town. If you look back to where we were even 20, 30 years ago, there's fewer thriving businesses downtown than there are today. And those, although they have left, we don't seem to have a lot that are wanting to come back at this juncture. Hence the need for vitality and vibrancy, and we need to give them a reason to come back. Available housing is an issue. People want to come here to live. The houses that are available are slim. Our inventory is low. So those are some things that we need to talk about. I know I'm drifting a lot off the gateway, but those are just some of the ongoing concerns that we hear a lot.
So then Jackson, like theoretically, if we wanted to get involved in that, there is a vehicle by which we could somehow expand the TIF into downtown.
Yeah, so the primary concern with that is you've got the State Road 19 corridor, which is a ways over there. For those TIF funds that are generated by that allocation area, you usually have to use those funds in that area or on infrastructure serving that area.
Yeah,
So
but we could amend the TIF to include downtown.
we can expand it. If you're talking about an allocation area, it does need to be contiguous to a degree.
So we just run it right down Waterford.
So we could expand it to South on 19, that would make sense. But we could create another TIF allocation area, a new one,
Okay,
downtown, the downtown
Sure.
walk routes allocation area, or economic development area. And then,
They would have their own-
but it would have it'd be a new fund, and it would
Yeah.
generate how much it generates based on increased assessed values.
Sure.
That's kind of the issue you run
That might
into,
be.
then. You're limited on how much this property values can increase within this area in the downtown, because you don't have a new development area in there.
yeah, my only thought was, just my thinking process is that if we're going to, rehab those buildings, we would see assessed values go up. So that's why I was thinking it made sense. And then if we could somehow bring that into the ability to use that with some of our existing funds through, an expansion, which I don't even know is possible, we could use some of the money as a vehicle to help basically rehab those buildings to bring the assessed values up. But that may be swinging a little too hard, I don't know. But it was just a thought that I had because, there's this vision for downtown to basically improve tax values, and we're doing tax value stuff. So I just didn't know if there was a way to bring those two things together. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, and I guess one thought is, though that sort of restriction is on TIF funds, those aren't necessarily 100% of the funds that redevelopment commissions have. I mean, that's the case for us here. But if we were able to, if we bought a property in the State Road 19 corridor, and say there was a blighted property, we demolish it, we sell the land, and there's proceeds from that sale. That's not, those proceeds from the sale don't have the same restrictions as TIF funds would, because they're different type of fund.
Right.
So if you had another one, then it's just redevelopment, funds that you could use in another one. We could theoretically, expand it greatly, but you don't want to push that too far. Just because redevelopment commissions are always, they're increasingly under the magnifying glass lately. But yeah, I mean, Napanee, I do their attorney work for their redevelopment commission.
There's the residential TIF as well.
There's a residential TIF there, there's the forgivable loan program. That is a bit of a complicated process that involves the redevelopment commission and also the economic development commission. There's a big difference. And then, so it's gotta go through all of them, but that is a program you could do. Goshen did that for the theater. And they did that for the Ace Builders building of the, what, I forget what it's called now, Baubles or some.
Oh, yeah,
Thingamabobs.
Thingamabobs and bubbles.
that was part of
That was a
loan
redevelopment,
forgiveness,
yeah.
right?
That's on Main Street, South Main, I believe.
It's right next to Squeegee. Yeah,
Correct.
that's right.
So if you're looking
Was any of
to,
that, was any programming like that involved with neighbors, or was that primarily?
I don't think so, that was new, that was its own thing,
Okay.
so, but it's the kind of thing where, how are you gonna start the process if it's an downtown, if it's stagnating, I mean, it's like, well, we're not gonna get any incremental assessed value, but if you don't do it now, when are you gonna do it?
Yeah, right.
Even if it's $100,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
and then-
Something.
Yeah, but
I had the privilege.
you can start, putting in plans for beautification downtown that way.
Yeah.
Smaller things and.
Well, I had the privilege of, after the conference in French Lick, I traveled on down to Huntingburg, and I'd never been there before. That's where they filmed a League of Their Own. I didn't know that.
That's where I grew up.
You did, in Huntingburg?
Holland, went to Southridge High School, which is.
Did you really?
Yeah, those are my old.
It's a really cool little town. About 6,300 residents live there. And they have their 4th Street district, which is, the primary stretch in their downtown, and then there was another state road we ran through.
231.
The other direction. What's that?
231.
There you go. I actually drove in on 231.
Yes, you did.
So came through Jasper. Jasper was a cool visit as well, but it was really interesting to see their 4th Street district, if you will. They have eliminated all through semi-traffic, and it's a very artsy, very cutting edge, vibrant, cool little place with, in 6,300 people, there were probably 5 or 6 downtown restaurants that were just booming, 2 steak places, an Italian place, a couple pizza joints. And they have kind of embraced this whole vibrancy and revitalization. They have a brand new downtown park with an amphitheater, and very, very cool. And so I see that, and I'm talking, I spent 5 hours there, and I went literally to every business and introduced myself and talked to every business owner there. I said, how did you guys do this? Believe it or not, it grew out of interest in the farmer's market for the most part, from what I'm understanding. And then that just expanded. And the very first place I stopped was called the Art Factory. And it was all about, pottery, blank, naked pottery sitting on shelves. You could come in, buy a piece of pottery and paint it right there. And store it in a shelf and come back and finish painting it 2 or 3 times later. They had. And there were a lot of cool little places like that. And it just reminded me, as I was walking through the downtown area, like this, it looked good, it sounded good, and it smelled good. There were great sounds, there were great sights, there were great smells. And it seemed like a thriving little community, and it made me think, okay, we could take steps towards that here in Wakarusa, but that's going to take a significant plan, that's going to take significant vision to make something like that happen. And so I'm trying to drill down as much as I can to figure out ways to move forward with some kind of spearhead in that direction. That makes sense. But I think they also are part of some kind of a special funding that took place.
Elkhart County, yeah.
Okay.
Or not Elkhart County, Du Bois County.
Du Bois County.
Du Bois County down there.
So they probably, their redevelopment or economic development.
Yes,
Okay. So,
yeah, they had the Christmas stroll this last weekend.
the Christmas stroll, they have several
4th Street
strolls
is
now.
closed off, yeah, they close off 4th Street, 3 or 4 blocks, people can just get live music and.
Oh, yeah. In fact, they have a perpetual fire pit in their park now. It burns 24 hours a day, no gas fire pit. It's very cool. A lot of placemaking has taken place. They're down there. They built all kinds of little places where you can sit, have a cup of coffee. One of the coolest coffee shops I've ever been in. Just really, really kind of a cool, exciting place to be. I didn't realize you grew up there. That's
League of Their Own was filmed. Yeah. There's a great question.
Baseball.
No crying.
No crying in baseball.
So
Anything
you
else?
did good.
I don't know if you guys got any of the documentation that we provided for the water, wastewater, the PIR reports, for the booster station and the lagoons. So we're gonna, if we can get help with funding, we're gonna avoid SRF funding, for the improvements that need to happen. So we kind of are looking for some direction from the RDC because we're asking a lot of the RDC. So if you look at the wastewater lagoon improvements performed by everything PW is Public Works. So we're going to be the general contractor and try to take care of some stuff in-house that we can. Some stuff we're gonna have to sub out. But we've also kind of spread these costs out over 3 years to make the improvements that need to happen with the lagoons. And these numbers are based off of JPR's numbers they provided in the PIR. So then the booster station, we have another need there to help the pressure in the south side of the system. This is something that JPR has recommended to go with, converting the old water treatment plant into a booster station. We looked at many different options there, but this seems to be the best option. So we're going to potentially have some leftover SRF funds that are going to contribute to a bulk of this property, but we're going to have some shortfalls that we'd like to ask the TIP to help make up that difference if we could. I know these are huge asks, but these are also huge infrastructure projects to keep everything in check and in compliance. During the PIR for the booster station, we did find out that we are borderline boil order every time you open a fire hydrant in the south part of our system. So this is a project that has to go, and we want it to be contiguous. As soon as the new plant's done, we'd like to start this project off and going. Some of this is going to be some design work through engineering, and we have to get permitting for some of this. So the sooner we get some direction, the sooner we can start engineering, and the sooner we can get permitting approved. So I don't know how much you guys have looked at those documents. I don't want to go into a super lot of depth if you guys have already read them, or if you want more information on a certain topic, just feel free to ask. And then I'll give you guys an update at where we stand on the current projects that we have when you guys are ready.
What causes the boil order when they open a fire?
Anytime you drop below 20 PSI,
Okay.
There's a potential of a backflow from something that may be a higher elevation into the system, so it'd be a boil order.
Got it.
So some of our flow testing has put us borderline out there. So we don't want to get into that situation.
So we're looking at about 850 for 2026
Yeah,
for the two projects.
yes. And then 474 and 102, that's kind of breaking it down. And what we did is the highest priority to the lowest priority of the improvements that need to happen.
Sure.
I think that we'll absorb all the engineering costs is our plan, and then whatever else we can, but these are kind of projected costs. We're gonna save a huge amount of money. I mean, you look at what the wastewater project was gonna be, it's almost $3 million project. If we went through the traditional SRF funding, us doing it this way, we're saving so much money. Between the two projects, $2.3 million approximately, we're saving by acting as a general. It's a lot of stress on us, but we're doing everything we can to save the town money to have the facilities operating like they're supposed to.
To that point, JPR mentioned in, I believe it was maybe 2 council meetings ago, maybe just a few weeks ago, a couple of meetings ago, that very few municipalities even have the capability to do this, but with Alex's experience and the training that he's bringing and the, what I would call as close to a crack crew as you can possibly have, we're able to implement these savings by doing much of the work in-house.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It not only helps our crew become more knowledgeable, but it also saves the community money.
Yeah.
And we get a better product because we're involved. You know, you're not just looking the other way and letting someone do whatever they want. We're involved and we're trying our best to pinch every penny that we can, but do it right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it'd be, foolish of us to invest in the lift stations and the new facility and then turn our backs and say, no, this doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean, we have to have the water to survive, so.
especially firefighting in the south part of the district.
Fire suppression is a big deal on the south side of town, definitely.
Yeah, and there's another
We've got
topic.
a lot of industry growing
Yes.
on the south side of town,
Yes.
so.
And with that too, not to take away from Rob, but we talked about there's a property on 42 that probably needs to look at getting annexed into town, but also probably incorporated into a TIF expansion before they develop. So that's something that probably need to look at here on the radar very soon, so that we can absorb that before they do any development.
It would have to done deal.
Running utilities out there,
Yeah, we know, the purchase of that property.
yeah.
So I think Rob will have a conversation with the landowner to make sure they want to be absorbed into town. If they do, we need to start looking at this at the same direction.
Yeah.
Expanding the TIF.
What's
I'm
the
sorry, not to get
process for annexing them?
That'd be the town side of things, but
That's the county annexes them at
they
At the
submit a
same
petition,
time.
you set a hearing date, you set the hearing, you adopt the fiscal plan and annexation ordinance. There's a remonstrance period, then once it expires, you record it, and file it with the state.
And then they can be added to
And then once they're part of
contiguous.
this, once that's effective, then we can add them.
So typically, that would happen in 2026, you think, or would it take till
They
27?
started the annexation process.
No, so that we
So
need to
that would
pursue
be in
that.
2026. Now with TIF expansions, you can make it so even if you haven't completed the process, you can have it relate back to the January 1 of the year that you adopted the declaratory resolution. So we could relate it back to January 1 of this year.
Of
If
this,
it were, say, if it were already part, even if we didn't finish the addition until
sure.
February of 2026.
But at this point, there's really no point in that, right? Because they haven't developed it.
Right.
No, you want to
But you
develop
gotta-
before,
Yeah, but you gotta start it before they start developing to get.
Well, he said we could go to January 1st, so
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
next year to
right.
backdate.
I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys that probably gonna start looking at
It's
that.
definitely something that is on our radar and we need to sit down with.
Charlie and the owner and make sure that we can absorb them and how we gotta do that because
Right.
you have a property in between that Southwest has to do it first. And then probably they'll have to do it next to continuous.
Just the process of.
Oh, they're not contiguous with the.
Southwest
can
do
do
it
it all
first
the
and then
same-
it'd be the other one,
yes,
so.
Southwest.
Well,
would be-
not
so
really, because
there's
you get it all at the same time.
Yeah, you can do it all at the same time, so both, as long as both are willing.
Okay.
You know, Southwest and them, because they're all,
Yeah,
they would all be contiguous.
Yep.
Yeah,
Get
they're
both
all
landowners
part
to
of the
agree.
petition.
We could do it that way.
Yeah.
They just have to be contiguous. You can't have one and then nothing, and then.
Yeah. So I think both discussions, probably with both landowners then need to happen very soon, probably, start that process, but.
I commend everyone. That's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to be thinking about.
And what kind of costs are
Same way
gonna
to
be
the north.
involved with the utilities? Because we'll have to get them sewer, right?
So that's something, we will work out with them, I think, as part of, the town's negotiation, the RDC's negotiation for developing. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But there are some things that we can do, like we can lay water main out there, no problem. That's something the town can do. They buy materials, we do the work to help out. That's something we can do. So we may offer that as, hey, we'll help the water, you pay for it, but you've got to pay for all the sewer. We're not doing that. So that's stuff that all can happen. We just have to get to that point.
Yeah.
So.
I was just trying to figure out if there's gonna be an expense that the RDC might wanna cover just because we want that in the thing.
Exactly, and that's totally up to you guys at that point. But know that Public Works can lay water main all day long, so, in that agreement, so.
Well, before us now is the request for the 850. We've just stated that we're gonna allot $1 million to be spent next year, so that's well within that parameter, so.
Alex, do you foresee all of those expenses happening in 2026?
All of the column A for 2026, yes. We're gonna try our best to get those all done in 2026.
Well, no, we're not doing the water towers 30 feet.
No, we're not doing anything for water towers
Okay.
at this point. Water towers, if there is a water tower down the road, it'll go in our booster station district.
Okay.
At this, and that will be with more commercial development. At this point in time, we're not going to go that route because We don't feel it's necessary, but we have much more growth than is necessary.
Water towers are insanely expensive. so you
Yeah,
don't-
so we're trying to, this is the most economical to meet our needs right now, and then in the future, down the road, then a tower may be needed. But as far as we can see, both systems are we're gonna have two separate systems. We're gonna have a north system and a south system, two different pressure zones. For the near future, probably for the next 20, 30 years. So
Yeah.
it's just the inevitable, we have to.
I was just impressed that it was $3.6 million to raise the water towers.
Yeah.
feet.
Isn't it crazy? And that's what they can, because it's all based on the foundation, so no studies have been done. and
Right.
Just if they can.
I wouldn't have guessed it would be that expensive. It feels like you could build new water towers for that much, but probably not.
It's, I think it's like $4.5 million, you know what I mean? So, yeah. They would actually prefer that you build a new one versus trying to raise them that footage, so. But the good thing is we've had JPR take an in-depth look at this. We found alternative ways, instead of dredging the ponds, having bugs that will eat the sludge, so it's a lot cheaper process. I actually had somebody out there today taking a sample to see what kind of bugs it'll take to eat that sludge up. So it's just an enzyme, different enzyme, they'll eat it up.
But a significant savings.
Oh yeah, significant, like,
But they're not like an actual bug.
no, they're like enzymes. So they're frozen enzymes are in a bag or something like that. You throw so many out and they'll drop so many foot. They're probably like 70% the first year, and then you do it again the next year, and you throw some more out and eat that sludge up, all the way until the consumables are gone. And then you have grit.
That sounds good.
Then you have what?
Grit, like any grit, sand, material that would get into the sewer.
That's Kelly's.
So, but this is
Wow.
a huge savings.
Yeah.
That we presented to the engineer, and they said, we didn't think about that.
Oh.
Let's, I mean, Rob, you were there at that meeting, right?
Oh, that much more economical option just didn't occur to us.
So it was kind of like.
We presented that
But it
option.
was like ding, 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 and in that he even knew about it, I think they might have been a little embarrassed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, here's a much cheaper alternative.
but I can tell you, like, right now, I believe the replaced tier gate value, cost isn't gonna be that much. I priced them out. This is JPR's estimate. It's gonna be probably 30,000 instead of 50,000. So there'll be some more savings in there. I'm not guaranteeing everything, but it's the shot in the dark, the best that we can come up with at this point in time. And these are the projections that we're asking for.
Are you looking for like a pledge, so you? can
Yeah,
put it
I need to
out?
have a pledge so that I can go proceed with engineering to get things rolling.
What did we do with the water treatment plan? I know that
We did like a resolution pledge.
Uh-huh.
If we're looking for it now, we can just make sure it's reflected in the minutes and make a motion and an official action. To pledge those things.
Okay. So, I'm open for a motion.
I make a motion that we pledge, the redevelopment commission pledges to $846,500 for 2026 request.
Yeah, I'll second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It passed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. And then I'll just give you a kind of recap of the lagoon, or the lift station and the water plant, if you guys are ready for that.
Station and water plant. Yes.
Okay, so lift station, there was a few delays in that for one of the control panels. But there was also some site improvements at Forest River that we could do to help clean up their driveway and make it look a little more presentable. So we had liquidated damages if they didn't meet the December 31st deadline. We gave up some of those liquidated damages to dress up the Forest River entrance a little bit and giving them a time extension. So, and then they could have had everything done by December 23rd potentially, but our guys are not going to do startup on December 23rd for the lift station and taking other lift stations offline. So we pushed that into the second week of January of the new year. So startup will happen then, and then they'll decommission the two old lift stations. So it's slightly behind schedule, but everything's looking like it's going to work out just fine with with final completion being in June for any site restoration that had to happen for grass seed or stuff like that. That's kind of that in a nutshell. Water treatment plant is progressing very nicely. Filters arrived today. They're not installed, obviously. They're just set on site. Most of the electrical conduit is installed inside. The whole exterior of the building itself is completed. The well house is going to arrive mid-December, and they'll set those in place. Right now, they're epoxying floors, getting them ready for treatment equipment. The high service pumps are set, and they're starting to plumb all that. The irrigation basin's done. So they're hoping that startup will be in February. It got delayed a little bit because we're waiting on the automatic transfer switch. That got pushed back a little out of their control, but it's progressing very nicely. No major hiccups. We're looking at roughly a $300,000 savings on that project. So with all the changes ahead
Booster station.
that we're going to utilize towards the booster station.
Sure.
So that helps with this conversation because we have to contact the SRF and amend the PER report for this project to make sure that we can add in that booster station to use those remaining funds for that. So, but yeah, it's progressing nicely. The plaque has been designed, and we have recognized the RDC on that plaque as well. We appreciate your contribution, and we wanted to
Do you
make
want your
sure.
pictures on it?
We just want to make sure you guys are recognized because that's a huge contribution to help the town and the community out. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of that in a nutshell. So,
Would you guys like to see the facility? I mean, have any of you been through the facility?
No, I haven't seen it since we broke ground.
the garage door on there is the wrong color. They have to fix that. So, but it's white, and they missed it that it was actually supposed to match the roof or something like that. The little things like that. But,
Great, yeah.
yeah, but it's a very nice facility. It's served the community for a very, very long time. So it's with room for growth. So.
We'll probably have an open house when it's finished. Are you meaning like a tour?
Well, I didn't know if you would be at all interested in doing
Yeah, at any
a
time.
tour, you know, putting on
I
some
appreciate that.
podcasts.
I'll wait till the open house.
Okay. Yeah,
I think there'll be cookies and coffee.
yeah, we'll definitely have
And I'll
a
wait for
ribbon
the open
cutting
house,
for it,
yeah.
and I'm sure there'll be some people involved in that. So.
Yeah, great.
But
Maybe we get like t-shirts.
Cookies and
I pledged $2
We're
million
giving you a plaque. No, I'm
towards the
just
water.
kidding.
All I got was a t-shirt.
Wait till it's your money.
Just one of the t-shirts.
I'm just kidding. No, we appreciate everything that you guys are helping us with, and do these projects that are necessary for the community. So. Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
very much.
Thank you for
When
making
did
us
you
aware.
said the projected startup for the water treatment?
Projected startup is around the first week of February, maybe the second week, somewhere in that area. So,
Which is earlier than the June deadline.
yes.
I was gonna say that's.
And it'll have to run a little bit and pass some tests, right, before it's. like,
Yeah, so
live.
it's got to have a little bit of a break-in period.
Yeah.
Which is getting the filter media broken. So there's a lot of fines in the filter media. So you got to get all that washed out. You got to get back to samples. You got to do all this stuff. It'll take a couple weeks probably to get everything dialed in. I will tell you this: the old plant is on life support, and we are fingers crossed every day hoping it stays together. So
Yeah.
seriously, it is on life support. So we're looking forward to this. So.
It's limping along.
Yes, and
Just gotta limp another 3 months.
yes, we need to keep it going. The aerator's getting extremely bad, so.
The shower. Can we throw some enzymes in?
I don't think we wanted to do that. You gotta.
That'll work for everything.
Yeah, we just need some of that. What is it? The waterproof tape that's out there. And put that on everything.
Flex.
Yeah,
Flex
Flex
seal.
seal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
we
gonna
may
hold
need
that
some
guy.
of that. No, it's we're getting by, but it doesn't have too much longer. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Only other thing I can think of is, doesn't look like we're meeting in December, so appointments for redevelopment commissioners for next year. I don't know if the town council's approached that subject, but if you're willing to do
We can pass that on to the council if you're willing to.
that. I would think so, you know, I don't know.
Usually,
They'll have.
usually the council does the appointments.
Yes,
Correct.
we just tell them if we're
That we're
still
willing to-
willing to do it, and if not, do we have? but, you know,
I don't
Success-
know if
maybe you have to
the
name a
school board-
successor.
Well, I guess they're
If
just
they're
involved
all right,
in
they're
the
gonna leave.
school board.
That was always
Yeah,
our
that's
rule,
our
right?
rule,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you want off, you gotta name somebody else.
Would that-
Come on. We need your
Council
replacement.
president.
Or we're not gonna.
Yes.
think the school board recommends somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that-
So right now, we're missing Leonard and Phil, correct?
Well, Leonard really is the one that fills the town council liaison, and then we're supposed to have the school board.
I was supposed to have Flick. He's never been here. He hasn't been here for a long time.
He came
He's good.
once or twice, maybe.
He's good though. He's actually gorgeous. He approves.
I mean, it's up to him to come if he doesn't, I guess, because he doesn't have a vote, so.
Yeah.
So Jackson, what you're asking is, are we willing to stick around?
I mean, I'm just saying, think about it. So,
I'm on.
I'm in.
Yeah, for now, I believe so. I only say that because I have been doing it for, years.
You have.
I do enjoy doing it, much like you guys, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't see why not.
But we're just now starting to have fun doing it.
The chemistry, you got the chemistry.
Yeah. All right. Anything
Well, I
else?
can
Thanks,
say-
Rob.
I can say we appreciate
Yeah.
just the professionalism and the very deliberate, intentional use of this time. That's encouraging.
Very few committees that I'm part of, and you go 3 months without a meeting, and still be productive.
Do we have to do anything for you, like approve your invoice or anything before the end of the year? Okay.
I don't have any invoices.
Well,
Pending, so.
maybe I need to bill
Bill
you.
us, because they didn't come to our meetings, probably.
Possible. There's been, I know the attorney before me, Craig, would do the billing, and so some of those files have been transferred to me, and I'm not sure some haven't. So maybe they might be floating out there. I don't know. But then again, I think we bill quarterly for you
Yes,
guys.
yes.
So there might not have been, we met in July, so there might not really be anything
And I
for
think
that
on June,
third
or
quarter.
June.
So.
Check on that. We'll make sure you get paid.
All right.
Next meeting would be, regular scheduled meeting would be January 15th, if we're not meeting in December, so.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be a Thursday.
And that would be swearing in and
Signing in.
Sign-ins and, anything else you need? Yeah, your bonds.
you might be able to have bonds by then if we're all still on.
Appointing officers, who's gonna be president, who's gonna be secretary, kind of thing.
Got it.
I didn't even say what off.
That was quick.
Yeah, I don't know what else, there might be other things, but those are the main things.
Okay. That's good.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Did it stay on, Katie?
Stayed on.
Hey.